Hundreds of documents just got unredacted, and oh my goodness, this doesn't look good for Blake Lively or Taylor Swift.
New documents have just come out in the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni lawsuit. This is bad for Taylor Swift.
Hollywood, music, sports, and celeb chaos are colliding harder than ever. First up, court papers reveal Blake Lively allegedly used Taylor Swift to throw Justin Baldoni under the bus.
Taylor texted Blake, quote, "I think this bitch," meaning Baldoni, "knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin."
And speaking of confrontations, Blake also disputed that Taylor and Hugh Jackman witnessed Ryan Reynolds confronting Baldoni about fat-shaming. Meanwhile, Zach Peter threw a social media tantrum over Taylor's supposed B-word comment in those chats. On the music front, Bruno Mars swooped in with his latest hit, dethroning Taylor from the Billboard Hot 100's top spot. Then in sports, Travis Kelsey helped Laila Edwards cover her Olympic travel costs. And finally, the Kelsey brothers are dropping their book No Dumb Questions just in time for Taylor and Travis's wedding month.
We're also announcing our first book. That's right. Can you believe that we're publishing a book? We're authors. Who would have thought? We're authors. I don't even know if that's the correct way to say this.
We're publishers.
Apparently, Blake Lively and Taylor Swift have been having some seriously spicy text convos, and now they're spilling all the tea in court papers over It Ends With Us. Blake apparently went full-on savage on Justin Baldoni, the director, actor, producer of her movie, calling him a doofus and a chaotic clown, while Swift jumped in saying she'd do anything to back Blake up. I mean, that's friendship goals. If your friendship is basically a tag team roast session.
Taylor texted Blake, "I think this bitch," meaning Baldoni, "knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin."
Before a big NYT article dropped exposing all of Blake's claims, Taylor was already warning Blake that Baldoni was probably sweating bullets, tiny violin vibes and all. Meanwhile, Blake wasn't holding back either. She was bad-mouthing him to practically everyone in Hollywood, from Matt Damon and his wife Lucy to Ben Affleck, calling him a clown who thinks he's a writer. Blake even recapped the chaos to Ryan Reynolds like it was some epic sitcom episode, praising Taylor for being epically heroic and calling her the absolute greatest friend ever. Text threads show they were plotting moves on the script too, with Taylor even giving Blake advice on how her songs could flex some power in the movie trailer. Blake was all about taking charge, rewriting scenes, directing actors, and basically running the show while Baldoni got dragged along like a confused extra. The filings make it clear Blake leaned on her A-list squad, including Bradley Cooper, the Damons, and Swift, to back her cut of the film.
Lively and Ryan Reynolds text Matt Damon and Lucy Damon, Matt's wife, and they ask them to support Lively's cut of the film.
Reynolds even chimed in, describing Baldoni as a sociopathic fominist with zero shame. Ouch.
Reynolds told them that Baldoni, he was a malignantly vain, sociopathic, Fauminist, F-A-U-X-minist.
It's wild because all of this is unfolding in court over serious harassment claims, but the texts read like a mix of Mean Girls meets Hollywood strategy meeting. Blake and Taylor are basically a power duo, one part revenge, one part script whisperer, and a splash of celebrity gossip chaos. Baldoni is fighting to dismiss the lawsuit, but the drama on the side is giving us all the cinematic vibes without buying a ticket. And speaking of Hollywood chaos, the mess didn't stop at texts and script takeovers. Blake Lively just threw another curveball, this time disputing claims that Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman were there when Ryan Reynolds supposedly confronted Justin Baldoni about fat-shaming. According to Blake, it was a way more intimate showdown, just her, Ryan, and Baldoni in her office, and trust the vibe was tense enough without a crowd. She testified that Baldoni had the nerve to ask her trainer behind her back how much she would weigh right before filming, which is peak invasive energy. Naturally, she raised it directly with him while Ryan hovered like the supportive sidekick he is, stepping in briefly but leaving Blake to handle most of the talking. Hugh Jackman? He apparently just swung by to grab Ryan for lunch, shook Baldoni's hand, exchanged the perfunctory pleasantries, and bounced. No surprise cameo from Taylor Swift either. She was globetrotting on her Insane World Tour, doing Swift-level things while Baldoni's antics unfolded. Blake's point is clear. This wasn't some star-studded intervention. It was a real, raw confrontation with her husband backing her up and nobody else meddling. The previously unsealed emails from Wayfarer Studios might have tried to spin a story with Swift and Jackman in the mix, but Blake straight up said nope, it was a solo showdown. She also explained that her trainer, Don Saladino, had clued her in that Baldoni was prying about her weight behind her back, which naturally set the stage for her direct call-out. This wasn't just some casual gripe. Blake made it clear that the questions about her body were invasive and inappropriate, and she wanted the record set straight in her deposition. And just when you thought the Blake and Ryan showdown was the peak of drama, the story got a whole new spicy layer. Enter Zach Peter, who basically threw a Hollywood-sized tantrum online after Taylor Swift's alleged texts calling Justin Baldoni the B-word came to light. According to insiders, Blake wasn't just rewriting scripts and redirecting actors. She and Taylor were scheming over whose music would flex power in the movie trailer, plotting moves like they were running a small Hollywood coup. Apparently, Blake even roped in Colleen Hoover, the book's author, to back her vision, turning the whole production into a chaotic celebrity-backed tug-of-war. Zach Peter didn't hold back, blasting Swift on X for supposedly dropping her innocent girl act and calling out the media for shielding both her and Blake. He basically painted them as the ultimate Hollywood bullies, with a side-eye to Kim Kardashian and Scooter Braun like, "Y'all seeing this?" Meanwhile, the court docs are full of texts where Blake is giving Baldoni the side-eye to every A-lister she can find. Ben Affleck, Matt and Lucy Damon, Bradley Cooper, you name it, she's spilling the tea.
She's trying to get every A-list Hollywood star and everybody to say, my version's best.
Right.
And just when the Hollywood drama over Blake, Ryan, and Taylor was giving us all life, the music charts decided to throw some shade too. Bruno Mars just swooped in and snatched the crown right off Taylor Swift's head. Yep, despite Taylor dropping not one but two remixes last week like a desperate pop general trying to fend off an invasion, Bruno's new track, I Just Might, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, booting Taylor down to number 2 with The Fate of Ophelia. It's a chart coup, and honestly, Bruno's flex is real. This is his 10th number 1 song, and the first time he's ever debuted at the top. Before this, his highest debut was number 3 with Die With a Smile, which now feels like a warm-up act. Bruno isn't just casually collecting hits either. He's now tied for 10th place for the most number 1 songs on the Hot 100 among all artists, rubbing shoulders with legends like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, and Drake. The guy is basically a musical octopus, grabbing every crown he can find. And get this, his 40th overall week at number 1 puts him in 9th place for the most weeks at the top ever, so he's not just popping in for a cameo. He's rewriting the history books while sipping champagne somewhere. Meanwhile, Taylor is still hanging tough with 2 songs in the top 10, which is impressive until you remember she's technically playing catch-up now. The rest of the chart is serving up some fresh faces too. Hunter X, Olivia Dean, Alex Warren, Ella Langley, Dijo, and Kehlani are all mixing it up, proving the Hot 100 is officially a buffet of talent. Bruno's win is basically a reminder that no matter how hard you remix, drop teasers, or send A-listers into full-on PR mode, sometimes a smooth groove and a killer hook will just bulldoze right through. And while Bruno Mars was stealing crowns and Taylor was scrambling to remix her way back to glory, over in the sports world, Travis Kelce was quietly showing how to be a real-life hero off the field. Laila Edwards, the 21-year-old ice hockey phenom about to make history at the Winter Olympics, spilled the tea on how Travis and his brother Jason helped her family get to Milan by donating to her GoFundMe. Talk about a touchdown outside the stadium. Apparently the connection goes way back. The Kelsey brothers, both Cleveland Heights natives, had already given Laila a shout-out on their podcast when she first made the national team, and she didn't even think they'd notice her DM. But nope, Travis slid into a full conversation, dropping advice and encouragement like a coach who actually plays nice, and proving he's got way more charm than just catching passes. Fast forward to her Olympic debut prep, and the Kelceys weren't just sending vibes, they were sending funds, helping cover flights and hotels so her family could cheer her on in person. Laila described it like a really good guy move, emphasizing that the brothers' greatness isn't just on the gridiron, they're genuinely solid humans. She's even hoping to meet the whole crew in Italy, especially now that Jason's wife Kylie is creating content for NBC and YouTube at the games. Imagine the Kelsey family reunion vibes plus ice hockey history being made. Goosebumps. Of course, Laila gave props to her own squad too. Mom, dad, siblings, and her hometown of Cleveland Heights, which she calls one of a kind. She credits her parents' sacrifices for getting her from skating at age 4 to the Olympic stage, dropping knowledge that ice hockey is not cheap. Equipment, coaching, travel, it all adds up faster than a football score in the fourth quarter. But beyond the money, it's the emotional support, the late-night rides to practice, and the constant cheering that got her here. And while Laila Edwards is skating her way into Olympic history thanks to some Kelsey-level generosity, the brothers aren't just tossing touchdowns or helping hockey families. They're cooking up something for the bookshelf, too. Jason and Travis are turning their podcast banter into a full-blown book, and honestly, it sounds like the kind of chaos you'd want to cozy up with. They're calling it No Dumb Questions, and All of Our Dumbest Answers, dropping June 2nd, right in the same month Taylor and Travis are finally saying I do. So yes, fans are basically getting double the Kelsey energy. One for the ears, one for the eyes, and a big old wedding bonus.
We're also announcing our first book. That's right. Can you believe that we're publishing a book? We're authors. Who would have thought? We're authors. I don't even know if that's the correct way to say this.
We're publishers.
We've thought about trying to bring this show to life. Like, we do this show every week. We love that everybody tunes into this, how the fan base that we built with you guys, the 92%ers.
The whole thing came straight from their fan-favorite podcast segment, where random off-the-wall questions get answered with equal parts wit, honesty, and brotherly sass. Imagine eavesdropping on two NFL stars riffing about football, family drama, and just straight-up weird stuff with zero filter. That's basically the book in a nutshell. Fans love their previous podcast episodes with Taylor, and this book will capture that same vibe. Hilarious stories, genuine takes, and the kind of back and forth that makes you feel like you're hanging out in their living room eating wings while they nerd out. Jason's retired from the Eagles but still bringing that calm, smart energy, while Travis is still catching passes for the Chiefs and throwing in his signature humor. Mix in their wedding month timing with Taylor and the hype is real. June is officially Kelsey Swift season. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.